All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 11 of the Nomadic Stories Podcast. Happy to be with you once again. Quick note, the numbering. So we kind of started like a season 2, and then we started from episode 1, but then we realized the other day that we actually have a total of 10 episodes out, and we thought it would just be easier to use consistent numbering and just call this episode 11, and go 12, 13, 14 from here. So that's just a quick note. I'm here as always with my boy Lewis, my brother Jimmy, and today is actually a special episode because it's the first episode that will be recorded with Lewis in Tanzania. We'll get into that. Anyways, happy to be here with you boys.
How you guys been doing?
Good, bro. The question is, how have you been doing, man? Lewis, you just touched down in TZ. What's it been like, bro?
It's nice. I'm not gonna lie. That was crazy to come to realize that. Like, I think I'm the first person to come back to TZ since all of us had created Nomadic, right? Or maybe no, Jimmy, you have.
Since Nomadic, no. Since really? Nomadic, no, definitely not.
Damn. But yeah, so looking forward to definitely showing you guys a little bit about what Tanzania is like, where we all grew up, where I guess these little seeds have been placed in our heads to create Nomadic. But yeah, no, it's been really good. Just be back with family, see home again. Mixed feelings though, because like obviously a lot of things have changed. It looks different. Obviously some things are the same. My family's routines are a bit different. My mom lives in Zanzibar now. And even like I only spent a week in Dar and then I just came straight here. So like right now I'm in Stone Town, and I've been to Zanzibar like loads of times, and been around Stone Town loads of times, but it's only been for like a day or like a week at a time. But now I'm actually planning to live here for like a couple months. It's a bit crazy. Just like walking around by myself, kind of getting my own routine going, feeling like this is my new setup. This is my new home. Like, you know how we talk about home for a while.
Always,
like
man.
I'm unpacking my stuff now. It does though. But I mean, it's a good topic. I guess it encompasses a lot about what Nomadic is. But yeah, like just unpacking my stuff now into a completely new room. This whole space is new to me, but I'm planning to make it my home for the next couple months. It's nice, man. It's nice.
Yeah. And for those of you who don't know, Tanzania is a beautiful country on the east coast of Africa, and Dar that we're talking about is Dar es Salaam. It's kind of like the tourist capital, but not the real capital, which is actually Dodoma, which is like more inland. Doesn't make sense to me, but whatever. And Zanzibar, which I think a lot of people have heard about, is an island off the coast of Tanzania. It takes about 2 hours to get there by ferry. And so wait, you're going to be staying in Stone Town for a couple months?
Yeah, so pretty much, which is kind of, again, mixed feelings. Like before I came to Tanzania, I was like thinking about going home, blah, 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 blah. It's going to be so nice to be around the same environment that I grew up in. But now, like, I've only spent like a week there because I was in Dar for like a week. And now I'm like being thrown into kind of like a new environment, even though it's not new, but at the same time it is new because I'm like living here, not just going through, you know what I mean? So yeah, the plan is to just volunteer for a couple months. And that's
what's the volunteering role? What's that about? Do you want to tell us a little more about what you're going to be doing?
Yeah, so I only started literally yesterday. And I was in earlier today, and I told them, I have a podcast. I need to take some time out to record. So,
you went this morning and then you came home to do the episode, yeah?
Yeah.
Dedication.
That's what's up.
I'm going right back after this. But yeah, so I reached out to the head of the Sauti za Busara Music Festival, which is a music festival that takes place every year in Zanzibar, Stone Town.
Can you please translate that?
Yes. So, Sauti za Busara, it's like a sounds of of joy, kind of like happiness.
Mm.
Really. Okay,
Nice.
that's not the exact direct translation, but I'll get it up somewhere here.
Okay.
But yeah, so it is a music festival that takes place in Stone Town, like in the center of Stone Town. I've been to it a couple of times when I was younger, and my dad also is a musician. He's played here a couple of times too.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
Bro,
but
I
that's
didn't
in
even know
the
your dad
past
was a
Kidogo.
musician.
Bro,
For real, dude.
Marty, Lewis
Wow,
Lewis
alright,
comes
dude.
from a musical family, bro. Lewis,
Wow,
didn't your
bro.
dad even used to tour, even in Holland and stuff? I remember he was telling me
Yeah,
that once, man.
back in his days,
No!
back in his days.
Bro, why? This talent didn't grow from nothing,
This is
bro.
new to me.
Bro, that's.
Bro,
Maybe you've never
Marty-
met my dad, and that makes
Yeah.
sense. But
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
yeah,
Once at IST, man, I have this. I don't know why his memory is so
Our
vivid.
school,
But I remember-
IST is our school. IST is our school.
IST is our high school in Dar es Salaam in Tanzania, where we all went. And I remember one time you were performing with your dad, man. I think your dad was on the drums and you were on the bass or something, and y'all were just jamming it on stage, bro. It was such a cool moment.
Yeah,
I'm sure
that
for you,
was
but
a
even
fun
for me
time.
to watch, I was like, that's my dog and his dad just like jamming it out. That's sick, dude.
Yeah, that was a good time. That was a good time. Yeah, now he's a musician. He's a music teacher now. So, yeah, I guess I get my passion for music mostly from him. I guess my mom also likes music too. But yeah, just going back to the festival. Yeah, this is where he's played a couple of times with his band. So yesterday was my first day, and I was just like, I'm pretty much just volunteering in the, I guess the organization or team, like the promotions team, to organize the festival. So I'm pretty much just there to help in whatever way possible. I don't really have a role at the moment because there's people that are like in charge of marketing, in charge of like the website and promotions and reaching out to artists and stuff like that. I'm just there, just like, tell me what to do and I'll do it
Providing support.
right now. Yeah. Hopefully that will develop into like a bit more of a, I don't know, like a more of a solid role, because there are some things that I'm looking to some skills that I'm looking to expand on. But yeah, we'll just see what comes of it. The festival's in February of next year, the 10th to the 12th. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see how this whole development happens.
So, yeah, I'm just, man, that's really awesome, bro. I'm just checking out I was just Googling a little bit, the festival. I'm surprised I've never heard of it. Like, I feel like that's something that could have been nice to go to even when we were in high school, to go check it out.
Yeah. I feel like in high school, I always think this kind of stuff. It's like when you go back and now that you're like, what, I don't know, 5-7 years older, like back in high school, we were looking for different things, we were looking for where can we just party and get drunk on the beach instead of like, let's go to like some nice live bands and some nice quality
Yeah, but
music.
like we could have got drunk at the nice live bands and we would have enjoyed it. But I've just never heard about it, to be honest.
Yeah, no, same.
Yeah, it is surprising because it's quite big. Well, obviously in Zanzibar and Stone Town, it's a really massive festival. But even in the whole of Africa, really, it's one of the most, I guess, notorious festivals for African music.
But I think really notorious has a negative connotation, bro.
Okay, then not notorious, but like
famous.
One of the most famous or well spoken about African music festivals or African diaspora music festivals.
Oh wow, yeah, it looks awesome, man.
Wow.
Yeah,
man, but what a like full circle moment that your dad actually performed at this festival. Like, I guess probably several decades ago, maybe.
Yeah, quite. Yeah,
like 2 decades.
I mean, the last time he performed was like last decade. I think like when I was I don't know, maybe like 2014 or something like that. Maybe.
Oh, dang. So it's not even that long ago.
It's not even ages ago.
That's awesome, bro.
Yeah, man.
But then, yeah, that you find yourself like being a part of it now, really cool. Who knows? Maybe one day you'll be on stage there as well, man.
Who knows? We'll see.
I don't even think that's that far fetched, to be honest.
Not at all, dude.
Let's say
we'll see what happens.
2024 maybe. Okay. But yeah, we'll definitely.
Not a lot of time.
We'll definitely include all the information if anyone wants to check out Sautiza Busara.
Yes,
What does
sir.
that mean, bro?
Bro, we
Ooh.
we just went through that, dude.
Really?
Yo, how has it been with speaking Swahili again and getting back into that groove? Do you feel like you've taken some steps back, or is it like coming right back to you?
Nah, I'm definitely like I'm getting there a bit more. I feel like mostly it's like the confidence of speaking that has completely left my mind a little bit. So just to get back into that, obviously, like I'm hearing it a lot more now, obviously, and I can understand quite well. But the speech, I'm still getting to getting used to it, rather.
Speaking of languages, I feel like my Dutch is going backwards, even though we're living in the Netherlands.
Man, I can't say I can't say the same, bro.
Really?
I feel like for a while I thought it was like definitely just like kind of staying the same, and then recently, dude, I've had the like after having done like some job interviews also in Dutch and like speaking Dutch, I feel like possibly my Dutch has advanced my French, which is not something that I want, but I don't like when I think about if I have to do like a job interview like in French versus how I've been doing it in Dutch, like I feel like in Dutch I've been able to express myself kind of okay, and I feel like in French I would have a harder time doing that actually,
Okay.
which is I think is the opposite for you. I think for you maybe I think your
Well,
French is
it's
quite
not really the
strong.
opposite because I feel like I'll be perfectly fine in both. But um I noticed like my Dutch, when I speak Dutch, just like on the fly, and I have to reply to stuff like quickly, like small talk kind of thing is going backwards for sure. And especially, and when it comes to slang, I don't know what anything is, man.
Yeah, slang I'm behind, bro.
I'm
But
gone.
I feel that in French too, though. I feel like you have a lot of French speaking French friends, which helps a lot with this keeping a little bit up with the slang. Like I definitely learned all my slang in French from you, bro. To be honest, and you're not even like
Bro, but
you're not even
even
an
with
expert,
French
let's
slang,
say.
yeah,
But
probably I just learned
yeah, man,
something, and it's not even relevant anymore. Like people, like
using old
I've been
French,
saying the same slang for like 5 years, and now people I say it, and people are like, "What?"
bro. I have that every time I see like. So I grew up in me and Marty grew up in Gouda, like, and that's where I was born. And when I see my friends from Gouda, sometimes I'll be making jokes in Dutch that like are jokes maybe we made like 5, 10 years ago, just on like the slang I would learn on the summer when I would come back to visit Holland, and they're kind of just like laugh at me, but also like laugh with me a bit, but just be like, "Damn, bro, we ain't heard that in a while," and I'd be like, "Ah, damn, I thought we were still saying."
I thought we were still saying these things, man. That actually reminds me of something that I actually wanted to bring up with Lewis as well, because yeah, obviously now he's back in Tanzania where he grew up. But like just the idea that like for me when I've gone back to Tanzania like after a year, 2 years, or Burkina Faso, like you
Mhm.
still feel very strong ties to the place, but regardless of whether you want to or not, you do change when you're away from somewhere, and you form new habits as well. And sometimes I've had it where I go back to wherever it is, and I kind of feel like a certain disconnect, you know what I mean? Like even when it comes to like relating to people, having conversations with people, like it's almost like you forget how certain things are. And like, yeah, I don't know, man. Like, have you experienced anything like that since you got back?
Yeah, I think I kind of get you. I think for me, um, it's still quite like fresh. I still feel like I've been here for like maybe 3 weeks in total, but I still feel as if
Okay.
like I was in Aberdeen like yesterday, kind of.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's like I said before, it's kind of like mixed feelings. I remember when I was leaving, like the couple of days before I was leaving, I was like, oh, I'm really gonna miss being in Aberdeen, like, cause this is kind of like my base. Like my friends are here. I feel like things are so easy. Like I have my independence, kind of, like not living with my parents. Like I can just go to the shop, those types of things. Like, um, and then coming here, so I had that sort of like not anxiousness, but I was kind of like, oh, a little bummed out because like just thinking back to what it was like when I used to live in Dar, it wasn't as like, I didn't have the same sort of freedom, I don't think, as I did like just in the past couple of years. But obviously I've grown up and stuff, so it's different. But also, especially I feel like in Zanzibar, especially, this is kind of like a whole different topic maybe, but this idea of like being like a foreigner or being like looked at as a foreigner when like, I mean, okay, speaking for myself, like technically I kind of am, but technically I'm kind of not because I'm from here. But to like local Tanzanians, Zanzibarians, they'll like look at me and just think that I'm not. So especially in Zanzibar, like if you go to like the more rural areas, like to the beaches and stuff, you'll hear like this word mzungu being said like all the time, which to people that don't know what that means, mzungu is pretty much Swahili for like white person or like foreigner. So like I can be labeled as an mzungu, you know what I mean? So there's like, it is weird like sometimes when you have these instances, like for example, just walking around with my mom in Stone Town the past couple of days, like being looked at sometimes, or being like kind of like approached as if you're a foreigner, like people trying to sell you stuff, for example, or trying to take you on like a spice tour or like snorkeling. They'll be like, hey, like mambo, jambo, habari gani, this type of stuff. Which is like, it's totally fine, but it's just like, we're not necessarily, do you know what I mean? We're not necessarily like complete foreigners.
Like,
and then it's always funny because with my mom's obviously white. She's from Scotland, but she's fluent in Kiswahili. So as soon as she starts speaking in Kiswahili, like people just start smiling. Like the locals are like, "Oh wow, you're Kumbe, you're not Mzungu, you're Mswahili." But yeah, there is a little bit of that disconnect because I'm not like. It sounds weird to say, but people can look at me and be like, "Oh, he's not from here. He's not Zanzibarian. Oh, he doesn't look Zanzibarian." So there's a bit like of that not fitting in just yet. But I feel like one way to sort of bridge that is through speaking and talking to people. So that comes back to the importance of like language and speaking like the local tongue or local language. You know what I mean?
I totally get what you mean, because like me and Jimmy, obviously we've also experienced that in like I don't know, all countries that we've lived really, including like in the Netherlands too. Sometimes not this disconnect that I was talking about earlier, but this kind of idea that you might be like a foreigner or something like that. For example, like the fact that it happens to me in Holland as well, that's the thing where I'm kind of like, bro, seriously? Like I'll be in the supermarket, right? And I'll just speak to the cashier like in Dutch, fluent Dutch. Like I don't have an accent when I speak Dutch, guys. And then I'll just say something to Jimmy like quickly, like, hey man, like oh, we forgot to buy this thing. And then the cashier comes and starts speaking to me in English. Bruv, I'm Dutch, man. It was very obvious when I spoke to you. I just said something to my boy in English, but like, you know, but this thing of Mzungu, it reminds me like in Mali and Burkina Faso, but mostly in Mali, they also have another word for it, which is tubab, which in Bambara also means like, you know, it means like white person, foreigner, exactly the same, basically. And like the amount of times we've heard that is crazy. But like you said, as soon as you kind of, it's very much, I think, like a superficial thing, because even if you guys don't speak the same language, right? But someone can understand that this place where you are right now is like your home, because like you understand the culture, or like you understand how you know how it is to live there. You're part of like a community there. Then that label, I think, kind of goes away, and it only really sticks with people like tourists. And stuff like that. So it comes back maybe when you visit like a new place in the country or whatever. But actually, I was wondering, and like we should clip this. Is like, what are like the other? Because we know Mzungu and Tubab, but what's the word like in other countries? You know, I'm quite curious, because I'm pretty sure this probably exists in like every African country. To be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know any
even
others.
outside of Africa, right? Like even in South America, bro, like when you're a foreigner, it's like gringo, gringo. They'll be talking like that
Mm,
about you and you just hear it, you know? But I also noticed that when I was traveling there, it's like, because I like obviously had a base of Spanish and I was really trying really hard to speak to local people in Spanish and to show like, yo, like I'm trying to like connect and learn from you. And I often felt that like me and like other people who were like traveling, still like foreigner but speaking Spanish or trying to, there was like also a disconnect between what sort of we were getting from traveling and experiencing versus what people who couldn't speak the language at all were getting, you know,
mm,
because they were still able to, you know, go on a lot of the tours that were given in English and you know, do all the fun things that you can do as a tourist without speaking Spanish. But then I felt that there was like I would meet people and we were in the same place, but we were doing very different things. You know, I was hanging out maybe with some more or making friends with some local people and learning from them. And then I feel like, yeah, language is really powerful in that sense to really like connect and learn. And then I think from the other side, they also appreciate that a lot more and will be less likely or, yeah, they'll probably call you gringo a bit less, you know, be like, ah, nah, like you're Mexican, you know, like you're one of us just because even if you're just putting in the effort and the energy, you know,
Hmm.
I think that's a great thing. Yeah, man, no, just the whole Mzungu Tubab thing is, and just never feeling or never almost being in a place where people see you as, you know, at least for our experience, like as like from here, is
Yeah.
something I think we're just gonna live with our whole life, and we're kind of used to it, you know. But I also feel like in Burkina Faso, if we were to speak Moré, which is sort of the second most or the most spoken language in Burkina Faso, um, which is also the language of our tribe, the Mossi tribe or our dad's tribe, and I feel like if we were to speak Moré as well, it would be a whole different experience in Burkina Faso, you know? Just like
Yeah.
connecting with people seeing us actually as Burkinabe and not just, I don't know, whatever
Hmm.
they see
Hmm.
us as
Hmm.
foreign. So we need to get
Yeah,
on that.
I
We need
think
to get on
it,
that.
yeah, it's so unfortunate, you know, like
Mm, true.
it's one of my, well, I wouldn't say it's like a regret, but it's something that I really, you know, I think it's just very unfortunate that we don't speak Moré. Like we speak French, which allows us to communicate with like most of the people that we need to and want to, but not everyone. And yeah, like you said, I think that's just like it's language is like so important that I think that's something that really holds us back also in being able to better understand like where we come from and everything. But it's
Mm,
just,
mm,
we never lived there, which makes already a language very hard to learn. It's not like there's very much media in the language as well that can help you like learn the language or something. And we definitely don't have anyone around here that we can just practice with
yeah.
besides each other, and then it'll have
But
to be
then,
like over the phone. So I think it'll come at some point in the future, like when we spend more like very much extended periods of time there. I think that'll like let us let
yeah.
us get to that stage. But I remember exactly what I was thinking just now, and that's this idea, like, like when you're traveling and like it happens so often, right? And it says, you go to another country and you're like trying to ask for directions, for example, right? Bro, you just go to a random person like, "Hey, excuse me, can I?" And then they're like, "Sorry, I don't speak English," or "Sorry, you know. And then I'm like, "Wait a minute, bro. Like, why are you apologizing? I'm in your country, man. Like, you're not here for me." Like, it at first I was like, "Oh, it's all good," but then I actually started actively trying to tell people like, "Nah, bro, I'm sorry that I don't speak your language. I'm in your country. Like, I'm sorry I don't understand the basics to even get the directions. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good
Like,
point, actually.
yeah, man, like you don't need to like honestly, like it's cool if you speak English, but like sorry I
I
don't
should,
speak Portuguese, bro.
yeah, true. I should be able to ask, how can I find this, you know? Or,
Yeah.
no, that's true, man. That's true.
I don't know, I think it's just a big one, and it's kind of like it's this almost I don't know how it is. Like I would wonder how this differs between maybe like colonized and like non-colonized countries, bro. Because I think we've all kind of experienced somehow in colonized countries this kind of attitude. There's different attitudes, you know, towards foreigners. I think we've seen it like in Mali for sure, in Burkina and Tanzania as well. Like when foreigners come, it's like, oh, like what can we do for them? Da da da. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm.
And so that's then you very much like apologize. Whereas like, you know, in Holland, I've seen people get angry because someone doesn't speak Dutch, bro.
Yeah, or in Paris a lot, man. Paris
Yeah.
is very like if you don't speak any French, like don't talk to me. And if you try, I'm not even gonna appreciate it. You know, I'm gonna you're gonna sound stupid. Yeah. No, that's very true. I think it's probably I think it's also like I feel like in like developing countries or like colonized countries, I don't know if it also has to do with like the tourism there or like because I know like in Tanzania like you be hopping off the plane and you're white and it's very much like welcome 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 whereas in in Europe it's very much not at all like that really, you know, it's just, you know,
Mm.
you're a tourist, you go and do your thing, and I'm not sure what that difference is actually, but
I think it also very much depends on countries whose economy depend on tourism, you know?
hmm
Yeah.
Like
like if they're trying
Tanzania
to
is
give the
so
tourists like an experience, you know, and
yeah,
like trying to get
Tanzania is
in
so
money as
dependent
well.
on it. Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
especially
have to go crazy.
Zanzibar's definitely, and even just like between Zanzibar and Dar, like I always refer to just mainland Tanzania as Dar because that's the only place I know really in on the mainland. But like even the difference between here and there is like Zanzibar is you get a lot of that, you know, like you were saying to me, like,
hmm
oh, here, come here, let me. They just want to offer you anything that they can offer you. You know what I mean? So
At an
yeah.
exorbitant price as well.
Yeah. Because then at the end of that is maybe then just that bottom line that the difference is like the need to bring in income and to give that experience, you know, less of like I mean it also, you know, if the roles were reversed, like I feel like it would be probably the same in Holland, but I don't know. I always just feel like Dutch people or like a lot of like more colonizer countries are a bit more cold in that sense. Like I don't know. I always even if you're like not a tourist, you know, like in Tanzania, like I don't know,
Hmm.
people can in much in from like a quick interaction feel much more welcoming, you know, even
Mm-hmm.
if
Mm-hmm.
you're not a tourist, you know, and if you're like, yeah, I live here, it's still more welcoming conversation
Yep.
always.
And
Yeah.
I feel like in general it's just like way easier to just talk to random people.
Yeah.
Like random people like at the shop or like you know, like in here if you go to the shop, you're gonna speak to zero people in the shop. But like if you go to Tanzania, you can just easily end up striking up a conversation with the person standing next to you, you know, or like waiting in line or whatever, and just end up chatting about whatever it is, and it's like not odd. I feel. What were
Mm.
you
Yeah.
gonna?
But I was thinking like, because I remember we were in when I was in Mexico. I don't know, like if I'm walking on the street and there's like some construction workers and I'm walking by, like I always be like, hello, like what's up? Probably similar in Tanzania.
Yeah.
But then I was with my friends Mateo and Raquel, and I remember Raquel asking Mateo because I think Mateo said hi or something, and she was like, she posed the question like, how come like when we're in New York and we walk past like construction workers, we don't really say hi like that, you know? Like, is
Yeah.
it also how we interact? Like,
Mm.
because we're in like a foreign country, we feel like we want to like, we don't want to come across a certain way as like, I don't know, a mean tourist or something, or you know what I mean? Because like, I don't know, even here, like if
No,
I'm
it's
walking by,
not. For I wouldn't say it's that, bro. Like I wouldn't say it's that because we're like I don't know. I feel like we kind of adapt to the place that we're in, kind of what feels normal and what doesn't feel normal. You
hmm
know, like we also behave differently in the Netherlands than we do in Burkina Faso, where we're very much not necessarily trying to be like, oh, I don't want to be a mean tourist. Like, you know what I mean?
hmm
Like even
Mm.
there, you know, we talk to our neighbors on a regular basis. Like they see us outside and they're like, "Oh my God, you're like I know your mom, she lives there.
mm.
It's so awesome to finally meet you." Like, bro, I've never seen you in my life.
Yeah, nah, I think you're right. It is also just a cultural thing as well, man. Like everyone, the culture here on this side is like, it's very much like everyone's just doing their own thing. And I feel like when we come here, we kind of we don't embrace it, but we also take that on ourselves, to just
Yeah.
kind of keep walking on our path because that's what everyone else is doing. No,
Bro,
so I think you're right, dude, for sure. Because when we're in Burkina, man, it's like I'll be walking my dog. Almost every person I see is like, "Hey, what's up?"
yeah, man, it's lit.
It doesn't feel weird. It doesn't feel
No,
forced.
weird, bro. It's so
Yeah.
If
nice.
I'm here walking my dog and I start saying hi to everybody, it's gonna be like,
So,
damn, they think I'm weird.
yeah. So I mean,
He's
in
too
certain
happy.
areas, like,
Yeah.
bro, like sometimes, like like in the park or like more suburban areas here, I feel like people do sometimes like greet each other like as they walk by. But as soon as you're in like more city area where there's more people, it's like done. Yeah, like it's so the difference is like night and day, man. I've had several occasions already in my building. Literally, it's not even like you're 2 houses down. It's in my building where I've said hi to people and they just ignore you, man.
Wow.
What? How
Yeah.
rude can you be, man?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like, of course, there are the people that are nice and like where it feels like, all right, this was nice that we said what's up.
Yeah.
But I think you really you said it right, man. It's you kind of adapt and you become sort of what everyone else becomes in this place.
Just to switch gears a little bit, like, I think, right, we also feed off people's, it's like give and take relationships with people just based off like energy, right? So not so much even people that you know, but like even people that you meet randomly, like that you say hi to, like if if you greet a stranger in the street and it's like y'all smile at each other and it's like positive and then you just continue about your way, it's like a positive exchange of energy and like you'll feel a little bit better just from that, just from that interaction. And it's like a cascade effect. When you're in a place where that happens like a lot, it's like it just boosts your day. It makes you feel better. And that kind of, I was just thinking about that as we're having this conversation, right? And how different things drain and oh my God, I can't stop thinking about this thing when we talk, bro. Like, Lewis, me and Jimmy have this thing, right? Like, I think that when Jimmy, we're gonna come back to this energy thing, but I have to get this off my chest so that we can keep it moving. This like an inside joke. Me and Jimmy have this thing, right? Every time he says crime, he goes like this: crime,
Yeah.
crime. I don't know if you can hear the difference. And like,
There's no difference.
there's a difference. There's a difference, right? Jimmy, say
I think
crime
I've heard
one
you
time.
talk about this before.
Say it one time, bro.
What's another word?
No, like
Say crime. Say crime.
There, come on now.
I just
Just say it, bro.
Mike is gonna pick it up nicely as well. Yeah,
One more
again.
time.
crime.
Yeah, he's avoiding it. But look, anyways,
it.
right? Whatever, dude. Anyways, so I got on this case so much about it because he also does it when he says like try, like
Dude.
right. So try.
Try?
He goes, try. Like the R, the space between the R and the first letter is like extended a bit, man.
It's because of my overbite, man. Try.
Bro,
It's
it doesn't
normal.
matter, right? But now anytime I say a word that the second letter is R, I'm like, wait, am I doing it too? Like right now I was talking about draining your your energy. So I'm thinking like, am I saying like drain?
Nah, but Marty, come on. You overdo it a bit, man. It's like try and.
Oh, dang, that was a long one, bro.
Honestly, I don't think I can hear it. Say it again.
Nah, you can't. No, look, I'm just trying to tell you this. I'm criming, bro.
Oh my God, bro, I messed up my whole setup.
Trying is not a crime. Trying is not a crime. Nah,
Yeah,
but
no.
Marty, you also sometimes you do it, man. So don't.
That's not
I'll
true.
tell you as well.
That's not true.
So we'll let the viewers tell us. Let the listeners.
Yeah, well, exactly. If they, because Lewis, you can't even hear a difference, right? When I'm saying try or crime.
Try, not really. Crime. I don't know.
You see, Lewis, the
Crime.
way Lewis says crime is clean, bro.
Let's hear it, Lewis.
Crime.
You see?
What's the
Ah?
what's the
Jimmy,
difference,
go,
bro?
Jimmy, go, crime. Go. Just give it a try.
Dude, I
Go,
think
go,
you're
go.
putting your mouth too wide, dude. Just relax your mouth, dude.
Bro, I can't because you're killing me, bro. Crime.
That was good.
All right, let's move on. Crime and
Okay,
crime.
sorry. Okay, so what I was
Energies.
talking
Let's
about
talk about
was
energy, man.
energies and feeding off people's energy, like when you greet each other, and certain things drain and give you energy, and so that's something that, I think that's something that we wanted to talk about in this episode a little bit because Jimmy and I recently had a conversation about this, because I feel like all of us have one thing in common, and that's that we like to stay busy. And what that means is we got a project on the side, right? We're doing Nomadic, and we were all doing that when we were also still in school. I know Jimmy and I have always been part of like extracurricular stuff, extra courses that we don't need to take. On top of daily uni life, like most people just go to uni and only do their classes, and sometimes like having a job at the same time, like a bunch of stuff going on while trying to maintain a social life, while trying to stay fit in the gym. And, not each of these activities feed your energy, right? And we have a limited amount of energy in the daytime, in the week, in the year that we can give to different things. And like myself having like a lot of injuries and surgery and trying to write my master's thesis, I got to this point where I was like constantly tired. And, I had this conversation with my physio, and he goes like, I feel like you're the type of person, like you try to be good at everything and do everything like to a high level and put a lot of energy into everything. But bro, you don't have unlimited energy, you know? And so this this idea came up where it's like sometimes you have to put most of your energy towards one thing and do less well in other things, so that kind of got me to a point where while I was writing my thesis and trying to stay fit and trying to maintain a social life, it was kind of like, bro, I just have to spend a little bit of time putting my fitness and my social life on a back burner while I go all in on my thesis and do good in that, and then the other things can come back later. And so it's kind of this idea about finding a balance in our everyday lives as to what we give our energy to. Even though we might want to give our energy towards certain things or it might bring us joy, sometimes you just have to like put all your energy towards one thing and let the other things just rest for a while. And I saw it again yesterday in this post by Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher, on Instagram, where he was like, if you want to succeed in one thing, just work on that for a while, and everything else is still gonna be there once you've achieved that thing. Yeah. So I think that's just something that Jimmy and I wanted to share today, because we had quite a long talk about it recently. So yeah.
No, that again, when you say it again, and yeah, it really resonates with me, and it's still something I like ever since we had that conversation, which is only a few days ago. I'm still like thinking about it constantly because it's something that I've also been struggling with after having graduated. Like during uni, it's like you have like uni is there, and then you're trying to sort of build everything and like your habits around that. But like now that I have like a lot of time and I don't have anything that I have to do. So like every choice I make is like because I want to do it, right? I want to find a job. I want to stay fit. I want to eat healthy. I want to see my friends. It's like a lot of things I want to do. And I feel like we're all like quite energetic people, right? Like spiritually, but then also like, physically, like we have a lot of energy. And I think for me, and I'm sure many people can relate, a struggle is like controlling that energy and like being able to to just calm down sometimes and decide like, all right, this doesn't require my energy right now, but this really does. It's like when I got back from Burkina Faso about a month and a half ago, you know, I got back and I had this stress on myself that I put on myself that like I need to find a job and I need to give this job hunting my all. Um, and you know, I decided like I'm gonna go full gas, and give it all my energy, which was good, because I made that choice, you know, to like choose that one thing because it requires my attention.
Hmm.
But then what I was doing in that process for 2 weeks was like everything I was doing, it became an unnatural giving of energy where I was doing it so much that it was like draining me to my core. Like I wasn't balancing it out with the other things. So sometimes it's not even about, you know, giving your all to one thing at once, but it's also about, okay, if I'm going to focus fully on finding jobs right now, you can do that, but make sure that those other things are not completely dead to the point, like especially the things that give you energy. Make sure that you're still also doing a little bit of those things, right?
Hmm.
Because job hunting it's a job in itself. It can be really tiring, and it was, you know, it was draining me. And you know, the lack of social interaction and the lack of, mainly the lack of social interaction was like making it really draining on me. And once I made that realization, after doing that for about 2 weeks and having some conversations with friends that were kind of telling me like, yo, calm down. It's okay you don't have to do this all like super quick, like breathe, calm down. You can give it your energy, but give it your energy in doses, right? Give it your energy when it needs to be there, when you have it, and then keep it all in balance, you know? So yeah, anyways, just to round that up, it's important to not put your energy everywhere. But then also, if you're choosing to
Yep.
put your energy in a few places or in one place, make sure that it's not fully draining you, and that at points you recenter yourself and you say, all right, let me get a few elements of those other things that give me energy so that I'm not completely drained and not myself anymore.
Mm-hmm. And I think like yeah, with that as well, it's like sometimes sometimes we give our energy to something, but we don't, but not efficiently. Let me put it that way. So,
Mm.
Hmm.
That's what I was doing
you
with
know,
the job thing. It
like
was very
put it in
inefficient.
exactly. So it's like in terms of like looking for a job, there's a lot of different ways to go about it. We're not going to get into it in this episode, right? But there are inefficient ways to do it in which for example, you have a low return on investment, so you put in a lot of work and you have little results. There are other ways to do it in which you put in less work and you have more results, which is also much more satisfying and less draining and might even give you energy, right? So in that sense, we have to also try to be very smart in how
Hmm.
smart and intentional in how we spend our energy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one thing I've had to learn the hard way, and which is a reason why right now the only thing I'm focusing on is like, you know, getting my energy back to levels where it previously might have been. I spend a lot of time on that, and I'm not really doing anything else. Um, but that's because, you know, a lot of times it's just like go, 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 go. And, you know, we don't find time for resting, recovery, and like, you know, it's just not sustainable. Let me put it that way. And that's why I think it's also very important for us to think about what are things that actually give us energy. What is something that by the time I get done, I feel more excited, I feel more energized, or I feel rested, you know? Because sometimes certain things can give us energy, but we're not actually resting, you know? Like you might go to the gym and get out and feel pumped up and feel excited about stuff, but when you get out of the gym, you're not rested, you know?
Hmm.
So finding the activities and the things that, you know, make us feel good, make us feel relaxed, rested, you know, ready to go, ready to start our day in the morning or ready to go to sleep at night, ready to rest,
Mm-hmm.
are just very important, and things that, you have to just think about cultivating and, figuring out really what works for you.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting discussion actually you guys had there. I think one way, like, I'm guilty of this a lot as well, but the mindset of like the way to, like, the path to success or like to progress is just by putting as much time in as possible. You know what I mean? Like, for example, if you're studying for a test or like you need to finish an assignment for a due date that's coming up, you just tell yourself, yeah, I'm going to go to the library tomorrow from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. I'm going to spend a whole day in the library. And realistically, well, in my experience, I've done that and come out having written like 500 words, because it's just like an unrealistic goal that you've set yourself, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, well, it depends on who you are, but for me, I know that's unrealistic because it's almost like the goal in itself, I'm basing it off of the time that I'm physically putting myself or setting my mind to this one thing. And also as well, like you guys talked about, have the importance of having space in it. Like usually when I'm in that sort of mindset that I'm talking about, I'll bunch up the time all together, if that makes sense. Like from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., like minimal breaks, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like recently as well, when I've been trying to take the gym a little bit more seriously, I'd be going like 3 hours at once, like just no breaks, just like, and I'm in there telling myself, yeah, I need to stay in here because this is the only way I'm going to see a result. When in fact, the more important, arguably more important thing is, like you said, to have breaks, have like
Rest.
strategic sort of,
Rest and
intervals,
recovery.
or like, for example, the gym, going in there like maybe like an hour, but consecutive days, or like a pattern, if that makes sense. Because you're almost setting yourself up for failure if you're using that mindset of like that's solely based on time and efficiency in time, I think. So like you guys said, a better way to think of it is kind of cater it to yourself and also like
For
space
sure.
it out.
Yeah, I think that's very true. And I think the key, what you guys have both said, is like find what works for you as well, right? Like, yes, it's about being efficient, but what might be efficient for Marty or for you or for, for anyone else might be different to what feels right for me, and what gives me energy. Like because like some people might be, for example, you're talking about 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Like for some people, locking themselves in for that, it works for them. And like they can get a 4,000 word essay done in that time, where maybe someone with like, like you can, Marty, there you go. But like it works, it might work for some people that way. And I
Still
think
sucks though.
it sucks, exactly. And it might still drain you, but the point is just to like find the habits and the routines and the ways of working that really work for you and that give you energy in that. And then whenever you find those things, which is just comes from trial and error and from experience, whenever you find those things, double down on them, right? It's like an investment, like you said, Marty. If you're getting good return, double down on that investment and keep going until maybe it doesn't work anymore or you find a different way, and then you can switch up. But I think
Yeah.
the key is finding what works for you, finding what gives you energy, and then I think everything
Exactly.
becomes much, much easier.
Yeah, and like, it's not like it's the thing with this is like it's a process, and you have to try to take time. Oh my goodness, dude. I try to take time to reflect on things and think about, okay, did this really work for me, or how did this make me feel, or because otherwise you're never going to figure it out. So if that's something that you think is relevant to you, you have to actually spend a lot of time kind of honing. It's almost like a skill, kind of honing that and actually actively working on it. And yeah, I think I don't know, I don't remember which podcast it was, but it's like sometimes also you don't feel like doing things that are good for you. You know what I mean? So say there's something that gives you energy or something that makes you rest or that gives you rest. Sometimes you don't feel like doing that thing, you know? Sometimes you don't feel like going to bed early or, you know, and obviously it's also okay to take breaks from that. But what I found with myself is like when you start discovering like new patterns in your life that work well for you, sometimes it's easy to fall back into old ways of doing things, which I've seen with myself countless times when I'm trying to pick up a new good habit, you know. But I try to kind of force myself a little bit to stick with the good new habits, or, you know, kind of push through that early phase where it's like easy to fall back into old ways of doing things. Yeah. And finally, with this whole thing, energy and all this is like, oh man, this is kind of deep, bro. But it's like, just be nice about it with yourself, you know, like when when you're very tired and you feel like you need to force through it, whatever, like sometimes, okay, it's true. Like there's a deadline and it's like, okay, you got no choice. But at the end of the day, just be kind to yourself. When you're too tired to do stuff, sometimes you just need that break.
Yeah.
When you don't feel like doing something, sometimes you just really can't run it. And that's okay as well. Like,
Yeah.
you know where you're going, where you're trying to get to, and you'll get there. But you're only gonna get there, and feel good, if that journey is also somewhat like enjoyable, and that you're not beating yourself up every day because you're not maybe taking the steps you feel like you should. But
yeah, for sure. And just every step of the way, trying to enjoy it as well, right? You don't have to. I read this quote the other day, or maybe it was in a book. It was like about, like, you don't have to like fall in love with your process as opposed to your product. And like, you don't have to wait. You don't have to wait to be happy, right? Fall in love with the process rather than the product. And you don't have to wait to be happy. You don't have to think, like, because it's the way we think, right? It's like, oh, once I get this and this and this and this and this done, finally I'll have reached, after a month, the happiness. I'll reach that state. Whereas like that just takes away from your process, right? It's the same with creating music, with writing something. It's like, try to enjoy all those little moments where or even now with the job hunt, try to enjoy all these little conversations you're having where you're learning something, as opposed to mentally telling yourself, damn, once I get that job, I'm gonna be good, or once I make that song and once it's released, I'm gonna be happy. You don't have to wait to be happy. Fall in love with that process and find those things that give you energy throughout.
What's like a little, like, speaking of just like, finding enjoyment in everyday life, like what's one just like small thing that happens, maybe that you do maybe on a daily basis, that can just like make you smile or just give you that bit of joy, that you just enjoy? I already have mine as usual, but
this is also for the like viewers.
This is
for you guys.
One small thing you do every day.
Yeah,
that you do every day.
Smile.
Does it have to be every day, or just anything
that
that gives
every day, but just like a small thing that you enjoy on a daily basis?
Off the top of my head, this is really weird. It's not weird, but like, honestly, like, I get a feeling of like accomplishment before I go to sleep when I like wash my face and moisturize and put like my skincare routine. When I go through that whole thing, I'm like, yeah, man, I'm ready to go to sleep right now. I don't know. I just feel like like self-care type shit. Like I feel like I'm taking care of myself, because I don't have to do that. I can just go to sleep and just have the same sleep. But like I don't know. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I'm not jumping up and down like happy, but like,
but mentally you're like, you tell yourself like, yeah, I'm hell yeah, dude.
Mentally, I'm just like, I mean, this must be doing something good. Like, you know what I mean? Like it must help. But yeah.
Yeah, for me, I'd say I have a similar, like, when I come back from the gym, like when I'm in my like gym routine, which I'm doing pretty decent right now, where like I come back at like, let's say 10 or something, 10, 11. After I've showered, eaten, and I'm like start like tidying up my room and getting ready for like sitting behind my desk, I put on this like 2-hour thing on YouTube. Like it's like it's it's gonna sound surprising to you, but it's like these liquid drum and bass mixes, right? And it's very much like super. It's really high tempo. It's really high tempo. I'll share a link with you guys so you guys can see. And I put it on my speakers, and then I start like making my bed, tidying everything up after being like showered and clean. And then during that process, I'm like, hell yeah. Like the other day I was doing it, I was like, dude, I love my routine. I was like, I love this. I'm just like, boom, cleaning. And then I sit down, wet wipe my desk, and it's clean. And I'm like, let's go. You know, those moments give me like a lot of like, I feel also like accomplished or something.
Yeah.
That's funny, man.
Yeah, man. What about you, Marty? What's your thing?
Bro, me, it's just when I wake up in the morning. First of all, like when I wake up in the morning and it's just quiet, I love it, man. Like I used to have this thing where when I wake up in the morning and like my roommates would be up, it would bug me. But,
fair enough, dude.
I'm always up earlier than my roommate. Well, 95% of the time here, in my new house. And bro, like when I just wake up in the morning and I turn on the kettle and I just open the coffee thing, I take 2 scoops of coffee and I just put it in my French press, and just the smell already. Then I just pour it like the water in the thing. Like, you know, I pour it high so it just mixes. I don't even need to stir it. And then when the smell just comes up, the warm coffee smell comes in my nose. I'm like, yes, bro. Let's go. I'm excited and just like, oh my God, it smells so good. Like, I think I enjoyed that process even more than drinking the actual coffee. But yeah, I don't know. That literally brings me joy like every day. On days where I'm just like wake up really late and I don't drink coffee or something, I'm like, oh, hell nah, bro.
That's what's up.
But yeah,
I love that. I love that question.
Man.
So yeah, people listening, watching, ask yourself, what brings you joy every day? I think we talked about that actually, like, where there was a quote that you said, Marty, a couple episodes ago, to like enjoy the little things that happen every day. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, it was from the Alchemist, I think. I don't remember the exact quote.
Yeah. But no, that's a nice little exercise.
Yeah. But before we start running off, one thing I would like us to continue this episode, because we kind of moved away from Zanzibar things because of Lewis' connection things. But let's why are you laughing, bro? Next episode, let's do some like Zanzibar stories. Stories with that we've all experienced, because I was already thinking of like a couple funny things, but I was waiting for you to tell them, but it's all good. Jimmy,
we can do that.
What quote you got?
Then I guess we'll hear a bit more also about Sautiza Busara. Sautiza Busara after a week or 2 weeks, whenever we record our next one. Hear a bit more about the vibes. Nah, but my yes, sir. No, the quote that I wanted to, it's not even a super long quote, but I saw it on the Instagram story the other day, and I just I jotted it down, and I just realized it fits pretty nicely with our conversation about, being kind to yourself, placing your energy in the right places at the right time, finding what works for you. And I remember reading this a few weeks ago, and I was just like, it's like, all right, let me do that. And it goes, it's a beautiful day to choose rest over a false sense of urgency. And that really, really resonated with me, because this false sense of urgency is exactly what we're talking about, right? Always trying to do so much and put so much in, when like we're just creating that in our heads. Like sometimes you need to just be kind, rest, take some space, slow down, zen out, and then continue, It's a beautiful day to choose rest over a false sense of urgency.
Big facts.
I like that. I was actually feeling that the other day, because just real quick, like I feel like, I don't know, like maybe it's like a Western sort of culture thing, but I just felt like in Aberdeen, having just finished uni, like seeing people go off to like get jobs and stuff, doing masters and stuff, and then me coming like back to Tanzania, not really having a plan, volunteering for like a couple months. I was kind of like my first day yesterday afterwards, I was like, I don't feel like I'm doing too much right now, or like enough,
Feel
you know. But then today I was like, I mean, well, first of all, it's just like it's only a couple months of my life, so it's not like a big deal, anyways. But then I was like, wow, I'm like actually home, and this is a beautiful place, and I'm with, you know, my family and stuff. So I really don't have any reason to feel like I should not be feeling good about where I'm at, you know. So I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
dude, it's literally. I had the exact same thing, or not the exact same, but like a very similar thing yesterday. Why this quote like really resonates as well is like, you know, yesterday I woke up, I wasn't feeling too good. You know, I had a migraine and stuff, and I was just like raw. Like the day before, I was like, yes, finally I'm going to the gym tomorrow. Da da da. I was so excited. Um, and like, so then when I woke up not feeling too good, I was just like, it's okay, you know. Once I get moving and everything, like it'll just go away. Next thing I know, I find myself in the gym just working out with a migraine, bro. Like, what going? Just because I'm like, I want to go to the gym. Like,
Like I have to, or
urgently
like I
need to
need
be there,
to.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, nah. All you had to do that day maybe was go for a walk and go back to sleep. Because your body was telling you, bro, you're tired, man. Go to sleep. You have a migraine. But I'm
Yeah.
like, no, I need to go do this.
Yeah.
Next thing I know, it's like another 4 hours before I'm back home because I want to do this on the way home and this, you know. Whereas like I just need a rest, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. You gotta
So
listen to your body sometimes. Listen to those signals. If you're not feeling it, don't force it, man. Don't
yeah,
force it.
exactly.
It's yeah, I'm sure many other people can also relate to this false sense of urgency or this need to always be doing something, and that also comes from like comparing yourself to other people. You know, I
Yeah.
feel the same. I've been graduated for a year, and like I feel sometimes like I feel like shit because I don't have a job yet. But then I remember saying that to someone the other day, and they were just like, "Bro, you spent this much time traveling. You did this. You've been back in Holland for a month and a half actively looking. Like you haven't been looking for a year, you know?" And I was like, "Yeah, I guess, but still, let's just stop."
Yeah.
You gotta just stop, man. It's okay. Do things at your time, and yeah, man, it's all right. It's gonna be all right.
Yeah, for real. I might go take a nap.
On that note.
Yeah, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for, you know, listening to this episode and being here with us.
Thank
If you're
you.
hearing this and you've made it this far, thank you. Big shout out to you. I'm reading off a script. You know, thanks for tuning into the Nomadic Stories podcast. Every view, every comment is like very rewarding for us. We really enjoy doing this. And yeah, like I said, every interaction like makes us very happy and is rewarding. So please leave a comment if you like the episode. Click the like button. You know what to do. And yeah, you can find us on all platforms down below. And yeah, this is a good one. Hit the thingy so that you get notifications when we drop a new episode. It would really mean a lot. And also subscribe, you know. And yeah, guys, mucho love.
Peace.
Take care, fam.
Peace.
Peace.
Who's that?